What's up, everybody? So I may have misspoke in my last video a little bit. So 27 and 5/8 is where we've got both sides down the car, front to back, so it's leveled off very well to the slab, which is about a half a degree tilt. So in reality, that shouldn't affect it enough to throw a lot of weight off front to back. But while we're waiting on Amazon to show up, this would be a perfect time to look at some ground clearance. This member is directly under the driver's door handle on a 4-door car. This is the front seat rear cross member right here for reference on your 2 doors. Now when I ordered this kit from Steve, he said to go with the shorter version of these because I'll be running a T56 transmission later, and that's going to come back way farther than the stock one. Not really sure on the estimation. Factory is going to be here. My T56 is probably going to be somewhere around here, or here even, possibly. Obviously, our Ghetto Fabulous exhaust that took a 4x4 the other day, still kicking, but looks terrible. That's the lowest thing on the ground, and I think will continue to be after we get this thing swapped over. But for the interim, in terms of frame and other details, this is the lowest part right here, is the bottom of this arm. And it tapers down as you go towards the back of the car. Might be a little hard to tell on camera, but the official measurement at 27 and 5/8 inches to the trim line, the bottom of the truck arm is 5 and 5/8 inches. The bottom of the silver bracket just below the bolt is about 6 1/4 inches. Factory 3-speed transmission cross member, about 6 1/8 inches. This measurement right here is going to be a little bit tricky because it all depends on the size of the tire that you're running. This is going to be directly relative to 50% of the height of your tire. The tires on this car are 26 1/2 inches, and that results at exactly 4 inches of clearance under the truck arm, under the spring, which is the lowest part. Now, I'm not super worried about only having 4 inches of clearance under the truck arm because basically the arm itself is a giant taper. If I were to get on a speed bump or anything like that, it's going to slowly shove the axle up. It will scratch my paint, but I'm not too super worried about that. This is going to be a street car, not a trailer queen. And if worst case scenario happened, I did high center, should be able to bump or rock the car a little bit to get it back off of whatever it was stalled on, as long as I wasn't going too super fast. But if I was going fast, it should just skim right over the top of it and catch the tire and finish it off. No problems. For the easy measurement, it is 8 3/4 inches to the bottom of the pinch weld and about 7 1/2 inches to the bottom of this cross member.
Bye, sweetie. Alright, see ya.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you like car show footage, stick around for the next video. I'm gonna cut it off right here. So we got the new motor mounts installed on the block, and we're going to test fit this real quick. That was pretty painless. Checking alternator clearance actually works now, so I shouldn't have to modify that. Using my lift in a manner it's probably not supposed to do, but I needed a little more clearance to get the headers back in there. So we're going to set that back down and throw a clamp on it real quick. I really like the speed holes in this work table from weldtables.com. If you want your own table, there's a link in the description. Get me a few bucks off my next purchase from them. But let's take a look around this thing. Overall, I'm starting to like this kit a little bit better every time I work on it. So we're kind of getting a feel for things, trying to see what's going to work and not work, and so far it's coming along pretty well. These headers actually fit great, and it's kind of a shame. Sounds like Speedway's discontinued them. So here's a little bit more on that water pump clearance. We can rock this back because we don't have the right size bolt in there. Gives us me a little flexibility on making sure how everything's going to fit and finish. And now let's take a look around the shop and get all the new people up to speed. The Speedway front end kit is going together fairly nicely. Got a few parts we're going to go over in a second. New tool in the shop, 2-inch by 72-inch belt sander from Catermass Creations. Pretty sweet setup. Motors from an old air compressor. Belt's fairly economical, and this thing is a ripper. Check this out. So far, all the equipment underneath, doing great. Gotta do a little bit of paint work. That's black oxide starting to rust. Doing some work in the trunk. Battery relocate. And we've got lots of new parts. Good Lord, do we have lots of new parts and tools. Battery. Replacement brake light sockets. Box of more parts. 90-degree drill. Griffin radiator. Rivet nut tool. I have a rivet nut tool, but I couldn't get all of the things together, so we had to get another rivet nut tool. And I don't know if you guys remember me saying a few videos ago about how safety and PPE and all the stuff that goes with working on a car should be considered an effective part and cost of working on these things. So I stepped up my safety game. Got a full face mask and air purified respirator with built-in hearing protection. I think that covers a lot of this. Now I just gotta stop dropping stuff on myself. Wiring connectors and shrink tube for days. Parts for sale. Electric power steering pump. Parts for sale. Inner fender kit for this front end. Speedway G-Comp headers. Turns out they don't make these anymore. Sorry about your luck. McLeod expired SFI bell housing. QA1 shocks. Standard Speedway control arms. 10-inch, no name, made in China coil springs. We'll see how they work. C5 Corvette brakes, 12.88-inch drilled and slotted rotors. Goodmark core support. I don't really need a new core support because this one works just fine, but I wanted to keep mock-up going so that I can get this all built out as much as possible before this goes in the car and get things figured out. Michigan Motorsports coil brackets. Unisteer power steering rack, quick ratio, came with the Speedway kit. Heavy duty spec G-Comp Nova front sway bar. Threaded inserts for the electric power steering mount. Factory water pump, 145 amp alternator, factory Camaro bracket. We're gonna get that figured out, and the accessory drive. Still need a balancer and some other things. And we gotta get an intake doing something up here. Inner fender kit, it's gonna require a lot of fitting. Parts for sale. More parts for sale. While we're waiting for just some other parts to show up, we're going to go ahead and get the battery tray mounted and set up, get the ground and all the wiring we can for the relocate kit done while the battery is still in the front, which means I can run and drive and play with the car still. We've got a total master kill switch with alternator power. Going to put that right back here, run a hole through here for this T-handle switch. Just need to figure out what brackets and parts I need to make all of that work correctly. 2-gauge and 4-gauge cable right here, which is going to run main power, ground, starter, and all the other feeds up under the hood. Here's one thing that I'm going to try out. It's a KC Cyclone LED. These are made for like rock lights for Jeeps and stuff. But I figured if I get a couple of magnets, I can stick these things up under here and get some pretty good light. Maybe I can even put this on like an extension harness and a mag switch to where when the trunk is up, I can route these outside under the car if I ever needed to do any roadside service work. Let's hope that doesn't happen. SuperbrightLEDs.com, converting the stop, tail, turn, and reverse lights over to LED. Local company to me here around St. Louis. Love these guys. Here are the bulbs that I'm using for the reverse lights as well. Thank you again for the 300 subs. We got about 333 as I film this right now. We might do something cool at 500 subs, so keep up the good work, spread the word, get your friends in here, and we'll get all that squared away. James was not here, but maybe James will be here one day. Hey, buddy. Let's see if we got anything else to catch you up on. Check, 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 Check. Stupid haircut. Check. I know several of you are thinking right now, what is a rivet nut and what does that red thing do? Is it some kind of disc? So this is a tool by Astro Pneumatic, and basically you attach it to a drill. As you run the drill in and out, this will spin. If you hold this part, that will extend and retract this anvil, which will crimp in these things. These are stainless steel. You can get them in all different flavors. This one's currently threaded M8, which should be a metric. I know this is not an old car to be messing with metric, but this is what works and is cost effective. So this one here, you take, thread on to the end of this guy until that is flush. Then you stick that in a hole slightly bigger than this, and it'll crimp it in place. I've got 3 already in. Take a look at those guys. You probably can't see crap because GoPros suck in the dark. Let me get a flashlight. Well, that thing is a piece of crap too. Let me see if I can do one better. Okay, now hopefully we can see what the heck we're doing here. So we take these rivet nuts, put them in these holes, and crimp them in. This is what your standard crimper looks like. Fairly easy to operate. I think you get the idea. You just open the handles, thread that thing on, squeeze it together, and it's going to pull it up tight. Let's see how this drill thing works. Apparently that piece of crap doesn't have enough power. And I can't fit a regular drill in here anymore, so we gotta get out the hand tools. God bless America. Snapped her right off. That's a load of crap. Probably not supposed to use it like that, but that's what it wants. Parts for sale. Update. Not recommended. Well, that didn't go as planned. So one thing that's really cool about this particular setup, I'll put a link in the description to all of the parts. I got mine pretty cheap, got a couple of like second-hand pieces and whatnot, and puzzled it all together to get where I'm at, but I'm very happy. Built-in hearing protection. You can flip it up, or if you're just temporary, you can pop it out, and then you can talk to people, and then snap it back in, and it's nice and tight. Got a full bottom, so it seals up your chin and all of this area from side to side to keep any debris, sparks, and other stuff from coming out of here. And there's actually a little blower vent right here that you can angle, and you can change speeds so you want to see how much air you need. The coolest thing about it, never any fog. Now I did put a lens cover on this to try and help it out, see if I can make these plastic shields last a little longer. The stuff I bought was Scotchgard. It's not exactly see-through. I thought it was when I was buying it. Probably gonna take that film off and put something a little better on when this one's worn out. Well, I got enough of the old riv nut out on those 2 locations so that I could put some new ones in, but the tool is broken, that one doesn't fit. Amazon, come on, give me another one, ASAP. So while that's going back and we're trying to figure out what other parts we can get on order before this front end kit goes in, let's see what's in the box. Drain petcock. Probably gonna swap this out for a quarter turn valve. I just seem to like those a little better. Here is the ever important part number. Woo! That is a good looking radiator. Wow. If you're LS swapping your Chevy too, you're probably gonna wanna look into this like I did. And the LS one specifically needs a steam port for the cylinder heads, top and bottom on the same side. Obviously the drain can go on either side, and then a built-in radiator cap. Now, you could run a surge tank, but the semantics of all that stuff's just a little ridiculous in a classic car. So here's the dimensions of where we're at. 27.5 wide, 3 inches thick, roughly 19-inch tall core, plus cap. And now you want to know how this fits. Let's take a look. Take a look at the front side here. Man, I couldn't have asked for a better fitment. That is fantastic. And that, my friends, is what you're gonna call a beefy boy. Looks like we got sufficient clearance for a fan shroud and all the other details before it even comes close to the water pump snout. Let's get a measurement on that. Looks like right about 4 inch, maybe an eighth more. That's gonna be tight. Maybe the fan shroud I can poke a little hole where that water pump snout goes. Maybe I can get a smidge more clearance here as well if I cut and shave that little bump off. Get that up to a 1/4 inch closer. Looks like I got the same problem on this side. Possibly I can just bang that flat a little bit. But gosh, that is an amazing fit. Homework really paid off this time. Finally. Remote oil filter location, ideally not the best, but I think we're going to be able to work with that. And if you're not in with the know, we've got some really cool stuff coming for the top and bottom hoses and the water pump inlet, outlet, and heater hoses. That's all I got for you on this episode. So next time you're going to see me, it'll be car show coverage as we talked about earlier in the video. And then we're going to get back into the technical stuff in video number 18, which we're going to go over mounting and the idea behind this power steering pump and system, what these little guys are for, undercoating the wheel tubs, and getting that wheel and tire fitment locked in on the back of the car, along with several other things. So I hope you'll stick around. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see some more Nova content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys sticking around, and we'll see you next time.